All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Kendra. I hope everyone is having a blessed evening. I feel so honored tonight. Um, Cheyenne and I have really just been placed in the most perfect path over the last couple of months. She and I both actually officially met in California when we were on the diamond trip. Leslie Zan had mentioned Cheyenne to me and had told me what an amazing woman she was and what an amazing leader she was. And she felt like a lot of our stories were similar, our personalities were similar. And so I'm always looking for a sideline that I can kind of brainstorm with and I can talk things over, and really didn't realize how similar we really were. And Leslie didn't tell me a lot about you, Cheyenne. She just said, you need to reach out to Cheyenne because I really think that you guys are kindred spirits and you guys would have a lot in common. And so this week, I was privileged enough to spend about an hour on the phone with Cheyenne, and it was kind of just amazing how much we have in common and how much we just initially just felt that connection. And so I know that my team is going to feel the same thing with you tonight, Cheyenne. With the fact that we're so similar with just our stories and our journey. I've already told my team I'm a very transparent leader. I'm very transparent with my ups and my downs, things that I've learned. I always try to teach people to learn through me. And so I kind of seem to be the trailblazer that's learned everything the hard way. So I try to teach my team the things that I have learned either through trial and experience. And I know that Cheyenne kind of feels the same way. I sometimes wish that someone else could have blazed this trail before me, so I didn't completely fail my way forward. It's been an amazing journey for me, as I know it has for you, Cheyenne. And so I just asked Cheyenne tonight if she would just jump on and just kind of share her heart for you guys to kind of get to know her. I know this isn't our normal night that we have our team call. And so I asked Cheyenne if it was okay if I recorded this. And Cheyenne, if you need it for your team, I'll definitely do that as well. So Cheyenne, I'm just going to let you talk from your heart. I would love for you to maybe talk a little bit about some of the things from Leslie Zan, maybe some of the three-way calls, some of the things that we kind of talked about. But I'm just going to let you have the floor. So I appreciate you, Cheyenne, and just your friendship that we've started. And it's just such an honor to have you.
Well, thank you so much, Kendra. Guys, you have an amazing leader. Kendra and I, like she said, we talked for an hour yesterday morning. I think I could have talked to her all morning long. We got off the phone, y'all, and I had like 2 or 3 pages scribbled down of notes, just of things that she does with y'all that I would love to implement with my team. So just know, and I know you know this, but your leader is amazing. So Kendra, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your call tonight. I really appreciate you asking me. So my story started in June of 2013 when Celeste Gwynn, I'm sure most of you know her, she reached out to me and she asked me to take Plexus to a mutual friend of ours in Vietnam. I was going on a mission trip, and of course my first response was, am I going to be in trouble? How much does it weigh? What is this? And she reassured me that it was going to be just a small bag of Slim and a little bottle of accelerator, and that I would not be in trouble. And I said, okay, I can take it. I had a 50-pound box that I was taking with me. Me and my girls were going for a month. My husband was going to meet us the last 10 days of that trip. So I needed my box of macaroni and cheese and donuts and chips and all the junk food that I love to eat, right? So I needed to make sure that Plexus wasn't going to take up too much room. So I told her, okay. And of course, then I wanted to know what it was. I had met Celeste, let me go back. I had met Celeste back in 2010 when my husband went on his very first mission trip with her. But so I didn't know Celeste really well. I just knew her from fundraising events, maybe saw her once or twice a year. So when she had asked me to take it, I said yes. And then I started looking at her Facebook page, and I saw that she had lost like 25, 26, something like that, 25, 26 pounds. And I had always thought she looked good, but now she looked incredible. So I was like, I want some of that. And so I messaged her. I became a preferred customer. And within 3 days of taking the products, at the time I didn't realize we were health and wellness. I thought we were only weight loss, but I did lose 3 pounds in 3 days. And I posted that on Facebook. I don't know at the time if I even thought that this was a network marketing job in your business. I don't know what I thought. I wasn't trying to sell it to anybody. I was just shocked that a product worked for me. And so I had somebody that wanted to buy it. So y'all, I was so proud of myself. I messaged Celeste, hey, I have a new customer for you. And she said, no, you really should think about selling it yourself. Well, the month before that, my husband and I had been invited to another network marketing company to a home party. And it was going to be $1,500 to start with that company. So of course I'd said absolutely not. I didn't have $1,500 at the time to just give to products, but we did sign up for the products. And somehow we ended up on a $400 auto ship. And so I just kind of had this, I was like, I don't necessarily want any part in this business, but Celeste reassured me that I didn't have to have products in my house. It was basically what I was spending as a preferred customer anyways, and it was only $34.95. So I was like, okay, sign me up. So I signed up. Basically, she said, post on Facebook. Now remember, Celeste was very new as well. She had just started maybe 3 months before me. So post on Facebook. I said, okay, and I left for Vietnam. While I was in Vietnam, I ended up getting several customers and ended up getting my very first ambassador. And it's funny because she went silver while I was in Vietnam, and her best friend messaged me and said, can I post about this? And I said, sure, but what is it? And she said, she went silver. And I said, well, I don't know what that means, because I literally had signed up and I left for Vietnam. So I had not been to any trainings. And so she explained it, and I thought, well, I want to do that. If she can do it, I can do it, right? And so when I got home, it was crazy. It was just kind of like things started moving quickly. So by the end of July, I was silver. In August, I was gold. September, senior gold. October, ruby. Senior ruby by November. And then in 7 months, I hit, not diamond, emerald. 9 months, I hit sapphire. And at my very first convention in Dallas, I hit diamond within 11 months. That's the fun part of my story. It was exciting. It was fun. But y'all, I was a kindergarten teacher, and I was working and just trying to hold my head above water. Everything happened so fast. I wasn't doing personal development at the time. I would reach out to my team, but I definitely wasn't being a leader. I never saw myself as a leader. So that was just, I was there if they had questions, but I definitely wasn't leading. But our team was in full momentum at the time. And at that very first convention, like I said, I hit diamond, but I also was one of the top 10 convention contest earners. And I don't tell you that to say, ooh, look at me, because obviously that wasn't me. That was my team. But I want you to see what momentum we were in. We were in crazy, crazy momentum. And at that time, I resigned from teaching. And then my husband surprised me and said, hey, I'm going to resign from my medical sales position. And I said, okay. And so he did. He resigned. And then I went and got my new car. And I have this $1,000 payment, right, that Plexus gives me. But all the what ifs started happening in my head. What if I can't maintain this? What if I have to pay that car payment on my own? Like I said, Kevin had resigned from his job too. Okay, now what about insurance? What does this look like? And what if, and what if, what if, what if? And I really, y'all, I just went into a downward spiral, just crazy, crazy scared. And so move forward to August, and what I was afraid of started happening. My points started going backwards. this is why, though. Number one, I had not been a leader all along. I had not been into, giving myself personal development, and I just let fear run my business. So I was treading water instead of trying to move forward. And so by December of 2014, I had continued to lose points, and I lost diamond by 9 points. Now, this is sad. 9 points, guys, that's 2 people. I didn't feel like I could reach out to my team and ask them for help. Why? Number one, it was my pride. It was, I thought I was the only diamond that had ever gone backwards in the history of Plexus. The only ambassador, if you would have asked me, I was the only ambassador ever in the history of Plexus to go backwards. I was embarrassed, but I also, I didn't know how to ask for help. And I hadn't created this team that would have rallied. I mean, they would have had I asked them, but that wasn't our team culture at the time. And so I was devastated. And all along, my husband kept telling me, Cheyenne, your joy is not found in points or in rank. And y'all, after about 6 months of hearing that, I think it finally went through my head. But he's like, your joy only comes from the Lord. But when that happened, like I said, I thought I was the only one ever. And so finally, after a couple of days of crying and just being devastated, because I didn't know how I'd gotten there, so I didn't know how to get myself back. Does that make sense? Like I didn't know how to help anybody else, especially. So I finally reached out to Sarah Marble because I had heard she is the queen of personal development. And I asked her, I said, what books should I read? What YouTube videos should I watch? And she gave me a lot of her YouTube videos to watch, some John Maxwell books to read. And so I did. I started, just pouring into myself. I also reached out to my very first level 1, Kim Wilson, and she had been in a previous network marketing company. And she said, you know what? I heard Leslie Zann speak before. She said, let me reach out and see if we can get her to coach us. I know she did some coaching with some people from Rodan and Fields. And I said, okay. So we started having coaching calls with her January of 2015. And at that time, y'all, I really, like I said, I didn't know how I got to where I was. I knew the basics, but I didn't know how to help other people. But I started learning about network marketing. I started building my belief in network marketing. I started building my belief in myself and really just started the personal development and just coaching with Leslie and just learning so much about this business, about myself. And for the next 6 months, I hovered right around diamond points. And then I lost it again in August. And that's when it hit me. I was learning, and that was in 2015, I was learning so much. And like I said, I was trying to become a leader, but being a leader was never something I wanted to do. Is not my personality. Public speaking in front of an audience is not something that I wanted to do. And so it hit me at that point. Oh my goodness, I'm learning all of this amazing stuff from Leslie Zann, from all these personal development, videos and books and audios, and I'm not sharing it with my team because in my head, they knew it. I was the only one that didn't know it, right? So in August of 2015, let me go back. In January, I got diamond back the very next month. I lost it in December, got it back in January, hovered around diamond points, and then in August lost it, got it back in September. But from September on, I just really started trying to pour into my team as I was pouring into myself. And I started seeing a little bit of that momentum start again. And by April of last year, I was able to hit reentry. My team, I started seeing people go becoming gems and jewels all over the place. And y'all, it was so much fun and so exciting. Now, granted, I can't take the credit for that. I just think as being the leader for my team, I had to start showing my leaders, that I was doing these things, that I was doing personal development. But I have some amazing leaders on my team that really held those reins when I wasn't even there. So it's been an incredible journey. But one thing that Leslie Zann talked to me about was three-way calling. And if you've ever seen Leslie Zann, it may freak you out at first when you start talking about doing three-way calls. I know when I heard her talk about it the first time, I thought, no way, no how, I'm not doing that. Like I said, being in front of people, it's been something that I've had to work on. So just getting on the phone with other people, it just made me nervous. But y'all, my team started doing three-way calls about a year and a half ago. And when we do them now, I won't say that they do them all the time and that we do them all the time. I'm trying to duplicate that more. But when we do them, we probably have a 95% success rate because it's that third-party validation. So I know there are so many different ways that you can do three-way calls. It could be introducing the products to somebody, introducing the business plan, any of those, but it's also a three-way call when you have a new member join your team and you do a three-way call with your upline and introduce them to Kendra or whoever is your direct upline. You're connecting those people together, and when people feel connected, they're going to stick around longer. And so, just hearing a couple of tips from Kendra is going to be amazing. I know that my team did, instead of doing a three-way call, they did like a Zoom, and we had 5 leaders on there with about 3 or 4 new ambassadors. And the 5 leaders went through and we each gave a quick 1 to 2 minute tip. And that worked beautifully. Those people are sticking around because now they have that relationship. Even though it's small, they still have that relationship that is starting to be built. And so they feel that connection and they don't want to leave as quickly as somebody that doesn't feel disconnected. But the third-party validation, however you can get that in there, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's a three-way call, congratulations, hey, they just made their first post. Get them on a Zoom, a three-way call with your sideline sister, with your, upline, with your downline, whoever, just someone to cheer them on is a great way to have that third-party validation. Kendra, did you want me to talk any more? Were there any other questions about the three-way call? I was going to give just a couple more tips, but
I would love, do you guys do actual phone calls? Are they three-way messaging, or is it actually picking up the phone and talking? Or do you start out with a three-way message, then get on the phone? Can you go over a little bit of the logistics?
Yeah, we've done both. We've done the three-way chats for people that can't get the person on the phone. We've done three-way chats. But if you can get somebody on the phone, I feel like we've had a better success rate. Just because now if I do the chats, I do like to use the voice messaging. That way they can at least hear my voice. And it's not just reading words. So they're feeling that emotion, they're, that type of thing. But if I can pick up the phone and get somebody on a three-way call, we have done them more where we schedule them versus just picking up the phone. Now I have had a couple of those where somebody's just like, hey, hey Kendra, hold on just a second, I have a great idea, and they call their upline or they call me and we get on that three-way call. But a lot of times we schedule them. And I had I just did a challenge with my team, and I said, whoever can get me on the most three-way calls is going in, everybody that gets on one is going to go into a drawing, and whoever gets on the most will have the most entries, and we'll do a drawing for that. But I really want to start duplicating down more of the three-way calls, because I think it just really creates a team culture. It lets people know that you're there. But if they can hear your voice, you're going to have a better success rate. So a lot of them, like I said, have been scheduled, and that works well for our team. I know a few people were really worried about, me included in the very beginning, about just telling somebody to hold on. But Leslie says it works. I've done them, and it does work. It's just, I feel like it's what you're comfortable with. The most important thing is getting people, letting them have that third-party validation. I think that's the most important.
That was super helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. some other things that I've learned, and y'all may think I'm crazy. I don't know, but affirmations. If you're not doing affirmations, daily affirmations, I suggest you start in the morning. Give yourself, 3 to 5 affirmations. And one of them I had to start telling myself is, I am a leader. Because like I said, I really, really struggled with leadership. The second one that I have to tell myself over and over again is, people want to hear what I have to say. And then, of course, I love public speaking. That's another one that I try to tell myself daily. And so, guys, if you just jot them down on a piece of paper, and once you start telling yourself those things, whatever it is, whatever you feel like, you need to work on, I guarantee you the more you tell yourself, the more you're going to believe it. And it's funny because I started affirmations probably about a year ago, and the confidence that came with it, it slowly started building, and I started going, I can get on a Zoom and I'm not sweating. I mean, that's a big deal. For me, it's huge. But those daily affirmations have truly, truly helped me in this business. It's just helped build the confidence. I know there's a lot of apps that you can get where you can record your voice, so then you can just replay them over and over and over again. And then once you start believing that about yourself, then change those affirmations out, but keep them as long as you need to. The other thing, personal development. It is a must. 15 to 30 minutes every single day. And I know some people work and you're thinking, there's no way I can get that in every single day. Guys, turn on a YouTube video, put your phone upside down in the car and listen to it as you're driving to work, or while you're getting ready in the morning, while you're putting on your makeup, put earbuds in while you dry your hair. I mean, whatever it takes, you have to do the personal development. It's going to help build your belief in the company, in network marketing, in the products, whatever it is that you're working on, or even building belief in yourself. Make sure that you're getting that personal development in every single day. One of my favorite books is Millionaire by Halftime. Love, love, love Presley Swaggerty. He was actually my high school algebra teacher, and he was my absolute favorite teacher in high school. And I've told people that for years, way before I knew he was in network marketing. I actually picked up his book. I don't remember when Sarah Marble started talking about it, maybe a year and a half ago. And I was like, Presley Swaggerty, I wonder if that's Coach Swaggerty, kind of joking to myself. And sure enough, the first or second page, it started talking about one of the towns that's close to here and how he taught or how he coached high school basketball and different things. But it's a great book. It gives you action at the end of each chapter that you can take, and I love that. Of course, Leslie Zann's books are good. What to say when you talk to yourself. I think there might have been one section in there I was kind of like, I'm not sure about that, but the 99.9% of it, I agreed wholeheartedly with. It was so good. And then there was a fourth one, The 4 Color Personalities for MLM. That book is hysterical. But it's really good to know how to talk to other people. So those are just a few of the books. Literally, I have 3 or 4 books sitting on my desk at all times that, I'm trying to get through. But personal development is by far one of the best things you can do for yourself and for your team, because once you start learning, then you can share that with your team. Really, I guess those were my tips. But 3-way calling, and then just really pouring into yourself so you can pour into others. Because guys, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you either. And so I think it's really important to just take that time to pour into yourself. So
if I could hug you through the screen right now, I would. That was so perfect. And I can guarantee you, and if anybody wants to type to Cheyenne and tell her maybe some of your ahas and your takeaways, I can guarantee you that you spoke to so many people on this call.
I hope so.
I know my team well enough to know that was the most perfect timed presentation ever. And I don't know if you feel like I do, but I wish I could just take like a whole year off and read all the books that my soul now wants. I actually went to Ollie's. I don't know if anybody has an Ollie's near them, but like the place is great for books. And like, this is what I came home with, was like 3 Joyce Meyer books. Like, The Approval Fix, How to Break Free from People Pleasing. I mean, come on. Making Good Habits, Breaking Bad Habits, and Living Courageous. You can face anything, just do it afraid. I'm like, really? Like, and I never would have really looked at those types of books before.
Right.
I mean, I would have looked at them but I probably would. I mean, I literally was like, I have to have that book. Oh gosh, I have to have that book, and I have to have that book, because when you realize how important those things are that you just talked about, and what we talked about on the phone, is like, there's a lot of things that we don't tell people, and my team does know. I mean, I do try to tell them, but it's not something I just promote or publicize, because we do have to have a high level of confidence to be a leader. And so, we always want to be confident, but I love what you said about being so prideful, that you almost can't go to your fellow teammates and ask for prayer or ask for help. And I loved how you displayed that so perfectly, because I can guarantee you there are plenty of people on here who feel like maybe they feel too prideful almost to go to an upline leader and say, I need help. Like, something is not working. I don't know what it is. I need help. Because I think we're taught so much to be so prideful in our lives. And that's been a really hard thing for me, because our stories are so similar. I grew so quickly and so fast, and everybody put me up on this pedestal, and I was supposed to be this and that. And I'm like, wait, I'm still learning with you guys. Like, it's kind of lonely up here at the top. I want to bring you guys with me. And so when I kind of came down off of that pedestal and I got down in the trenches and said, listen, I'm no different than you guys. We're just anointed my path, and I'm figuring it out. And so we just kind of all went on this journey together in the personal growth. And so we have a lot of the books that you have mentioned. My team over the course of the last year have actually studied and learned. But one thing you said that I wrote it down and I circled it, was what she was fearing, or what you were afraid of, happened.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely, like, that for some reason in my soul just resonated.
Right.
And I guess because our stories again are similar, I retired myself and I retired Michael, and it's almost like that self-fulfilled prophecy, is that what you think about is what you can make happen and what can come true, because that's what you're always focused on. Is I want you to know, thank you for that, because that absolutely freed me. And I'm certain probably many other people on the call of, instead of saying those things, go back to your affirmations and say those things and do it afraid,
Yes. Well, and it's funny, because I shared with you, Kendra, yesterday that I knew God would use that story when I could tell it without crying. But y'all, if I hadn't gone through that, I still would not be, not that I'm this fabulous leader by any means, but I wouldn't be there for my team the way that I need to be, because I didn't understand when people weren't going fast. I didn't understand, because it just happened. And so it was so good for me to see how hard this business can be. You know what I mean? And I learned so much. When I felt like it was a valley, I learned so much in that valley. And so when we started having momentum for the second time, it was so much better than even the first time, because we had to work as a team to get there. You know what I mean? And just all the life lessons that were learned through there. And, I think God was going, yeah, your husband's right. Your joy is not found in a rank or numbers. Your joy is found in me, period. And so that was really good for me. I do have one more book I do want to share that I don't know why I didn't share it a while ago. Y'all, I love this book, and it's called You're Made for a God-Sized Dream. Oh my goodness. So good. And it's by Holly Girth. love it. Like, it's funny because most of you probably don't know, but we're in the adoption process, and we're trying to bring home a little girl from Vietnam she just turned 14. We met her 6 years ago, and 6 years in January was the time that we started trying to bring her home somehow. So, this related not only to that for me, but just everything else in my life, including Plexus. So great book. Just, if you get a chance to read it, go for it. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. And I love how spiritual you are. I knew we were connected for a reason.
Right? I know. I'm so excited. It was Holly Gerth, Gerth. Somebody had asked. You're welcome.
That is so good. One last question for you, yes, Cheyenne, and then we will get you back to your family. If you had to do one thing over again and you could do it differently, what would it be?
It would be, honestly, being a leader from the very beginning with my team. Y'all don't understand how many times I've gone back and said, I'm so sorry. It's really hard to go back to your team and try to become the leader that you need to be. It can happen, but I really wish I would have known from the very beginning to not only do personal development so I could learn and grow, but so that I could help my team members too. Just to be that leader from the very beginning. I know I've lost a lot of good people, those wonderful white lines. I know I have some gems and jewels that were in those white lines. If only I had led them from the beginning. Yeah. So that would be the thing that I would definitely change.
My gosh, that is so good. Guys, I know y'all all feel the same way I do, so I'll speak for us. Cheyenne, you are a godsend to our team, and I appreciate you so much doing this tonight. I know my phone is going to be blowing up, and my Facebook message is telling me how much this has helped someone. And I pray that the time that you've taken out of your busy schedule will be given back to you tenfold. And we really do. I know how busy you are and how valuable your time is. And we will definitely take this in and continue to spread the blessings of Plexus. And so I would love, if you're okay with this, I usually close my Sunday night calls in prayer. This is an off night for us on Thursday. But I know I can never get too much prayer. And so if you're interested, I'll go ahead and stop the recording now. And we'll go ahead and close out our team call.